You probably came across this video to test your intelligence. However, we must warn you the images that you'll see next will make you doubt your senses and the world around you. Why? Well, the artists responsible for the design of the following images have used visual effects and multiple perspectives to confuse your brain. Given that we know how much you love to test your mental agility, today we'll introduce you to 5 photos that'll test your intelligence. Before we begin, make sure you hit that subscribe button to get notified every day for more amazing content. With that being said, let's begin. Number 5, the pandas. In a zoo in China, 3 pandas have escaped, and we need your help to find them. You must remember that these creatures are in danger of being extinct, so it's urgent that we find them. Your observation skills will be tested though. How long do you think it'll take you to solve this and save the creatures from any harm? Maybe it'll be very helpful to bring a bamboo stick, because remember, this is one of the panda's favorite foods. Human beings aren't the only species that suffer from the climatic consequences of cold and snow. Some zoos have to adapt their facilities so that the animals can cope with the harsh conditions. However, pandas get along with this climate. In fact, one of the bears we have lost did so in the middle of winter. In fact, as you can see in the image, there are several snowmen there. Do you think you can discover where they are hiding in less than 10 seconds? The layer of fat and the wide coat that covers them helps them to stand in the mist. If you wonder where it is, the answer is simple. It was hidden on the right side, in the middle of the picture. The second panda that has escaped went to a Star Wars convention. Now, it's very exciting for the next movie in this franchise, so it couldn't help but escape and hide in the midst of stormtroopers to prevent us from taking it back to the zoo. How long do you think it'll take you to discover the position of this intruder? Remember, it's in your hands to capture this rebel. Have you guessed? If not, we'll mark it with a red circle. Things are a little more complex now. This time we have a panda who's a lover of heavy metal music. He's escaped with a group of men who also love this music. And even though we have searched for him, we can't find him. Although we must admit, we felt a little intimidated by all of these men who are staring at us in an angry way. Do you think you know where the third of our hairy friends is hiding? We'll give you 10 seconds to see if you can guess. Pay close attention now. It's the last chance you have. Did you manage to guess? It was just in the middle of the row, on the left side. We'll mark it with a red circle also, so you can see it a little better. Number 4, how much do you know about art? Next, we'll show you 2 classic works of Renaissance art. However, things won't be so simple and you'll need much more than basic knowledge about art history. Since we'll use the magic of Photoshop to modify these paintings a bit, you're going to have to be on your best game. Your job will be to guess the name of each piece of art. Don't worry, if you read the instructions, then we trust in your knowledge and your ability to remember data like these. The first work we'll show you was painted on the roof of a church. The artist took several decades to finish it, but the final result was well worth it. Such is its importance that multiple theories have been generated about the true meaning of the painting, each one crazier than the previous. However, today we won't talk about those stories. Do you think you can guess what the name is? Do you know who painted it, and what's the church? Do you need a clue? In the work, the first man on earth is shown. Now have you guessed it? It's about the creation of Adam. It's the illustration of the biblical episode in Genesis in which God gives life to the first man. It was painted by Michelangelo around the year 1511. Now, let's go with the next. This image you'll see is one of our favorites. It's executed in tempera on canvas and it's preserved in the Uffizi Gallery, Florence. If you're wondering why do we love this work so much, well, the reason is easy to explain. This was the first large-scale painting that was created with an exclusively secular and mythological reason during the Renaissance. In addition, it represents 3 of the essential elements of matter: air, earth, and water. With all of these clues, how long do you think it'll take you to guess the painting we're talking about? Think about it. We'll give you 10 seconds to guess. Ready? It's The Birth of Venus, a work done by Sandro Botticelli. The artist, when creating the work, tried to go beyond the classical myths to transport us by way of optical perceptions. Prior to this, the only work that had been painted by artists of a naked female was of Eve, the typical scene in which she was tempted by the snake or when she was expelled from the Garden of Eden. Her nude scene was most associated with an act of shame of original sin. But with this painting, with Venus, the nude represents vitality, brightness, and, of course, beauty. In The Birth of Venus, for the first time, the opposite of evil, shame, and guilt is being shown by art. Number 3, interactive sculptures. If we have to mention optical illusions, we can't overlook this man who's taken things to another level. A child who grew up fascinated by the books of optical illusions made by the artist M.C. Escher. This man, who is considered to be Escher's heir, has created such amazing pieces that have transcended the history of sculpture. Of course, we're talking about Marcus Rates. This man has always wanted to express in his pieces the fragility of what is considered by many the most reliable sense and sight. Since his works deceive us in the first instance, if you get to visit one of them, you can't settle for a single perspective. In fact, you must look around at sculptures or move away from them to perceive the multiplicity of forms that this can offer us. Without a doubt, his pieces are the exact description of ambiguity. For example, watch the first piece carefully. Maybe at first you think you see a face from the side. However, while it continues to rotate on its axis, it's showing us other possibilities. First, a face that looks to the left, afterwards, looking us face to face, and then looking to the right. And it keeps spinning and spinning eternally, alternating the figure from one side to the other. However, this isn't the only work that fascinates us. In this next one, we can see a rabbit on the right, which, if you see through a mirror, is a man with a hat. Can you notice the magic behind the ambiguity? Can you see how the same thing can be a very different thing at the same time? Now take a look at this other one. Here is written the expression, "oh." Unlike what many might expect, the same word is reflected through the mirror. Surprising, don't you think? The normal thing is that the mirror reflects the opposite, H-O, but in this case, it's not like that. The last one is maybe the most famous of its works. From an angle, it's a simple yes. But if you keep walking around it, we find its opposite, a resounding no. You must admit, this sculptor creates pieces in which reality and illusion can be seen at the same time, taking these sight games to a higher level, a very interesting and artistic one at that. They themselves have life. They're the center of magic, and you're just a spectator who sees what the work of art wants to show you. Number 2, the magic chair. If so far you've begun to doubt your senses, buckle up because we haven't finished yet. The chairs you'll see next aren't what they seem, although in the distance they look like a normal piece of furniture. In fact, one so common that it escapes any appeal. Designed by the French studio, Hybride, these chairs are far from being something simple. They created this furniture in such a way that depending upon the angle you look at them, they'll look like they're completely folded when in fact they're not. Or you'll believe the seat is in one place, when in fact it's just at the opposite location. No, this isn't a joke, but a very interesting way to reach a new audience. An advertising technique that has served them well, don't you believe? If you don't believe, well then watch the following video. In a normal study, there's a black chair in the middle of everything. A man slowly approaches the furniture and looks at it with some disdain. He places both hands on the chair and begins to take a seat in the place you would think the back is. Do you think he would fall to the ground? Well, we're sorry to let you down. The man is sitting very comfortably. The same man gets up once more and takes the chair by the arms, turns it aside and tells us indirectly we've been deceived. Surprising, huh? The interesting thing about this whole video is that the Hybride has designed 3 different chairs. The Hidden Shaker, the Hidden Terrence, and the Hidden Wagner. Each one is very different from the other, but they all have the same effect on the viewer. Does their ambiguity fascinate you? Wouldn't you like to buy one of these? Number 1, the Dance of the Crazy Legs. If you ever believe the Russians have very strange customs, well, after watching this video, you'll have another reason to believe it. These girls mix dancing with optical illusions, making us believe they're experts in this art. They're dressed in black and white, representing a famous dance called Strumphosentanz. We're not sure what the literal translation is, but we think they make references to those funny socks. Obviously, each member of this dance moves their legs depending upon the person next to them. And if you look at it alone, you'll be confused, as it will make you doubt their anatomy. The initial position draws our attention. The legs that are in black are firmly on the ground. However, those that are in white are one over the other, in an attractive way. The music starts and the feet move wildly, but this doesn't last long, as they begin to walk forward following the music, placing white legs in front of the black ones, and then backwards, doing the same procedure. Even though we know they're not the most coordinated of dancers. That doesn't matter at all, however, since the visual effect is very funny, so funny that it's worth a second and a third watch. What do you think? We'd like to know your opinion. Please leave a comment below. Our favorite part, however, is when they start raising their legs like cabaret dancers. You must admit, Sometimes you get to wonder, is there an invisible person in their midst? But alas, there isn't. We love this trend. The most fun is that there are hundreds of videos with the same effect on YouTube. In fact, there are so many versions and choreographies that you can choose from a multitude. Would you dare to upload a video doing the same thing though? We love to see you do it. In fact, we like to see you do a version of this dance to Journey's Don't Stop Believin'. Alright, Top Fivers, if you haven't already, make sure to visit our other channel, The Brilliant, for even more interesting listed videos that'll blow your mind. But I'm warning you, the videos over on The Brilliant are extremely addicting to watch as well. There'll be a link at the description to the channel, so make sure you come and visit us. Or you can go to our latest video popping up on the screen right now. Oh, and have you visited TheFinestPost.com to enjoy the most amazing articles you'll ever get to read?